What's up, guys? I am back here with another video. I know the last time you saw a video from me was months ago. Right here is a playback of a recording originally when I first got in the house. Right now I'm just getting to the point to where I'm actually starting to edit this video. So I decided to take and finish what I started, just keep going through showing you guys the progress of the house, how it's coming out, what I've been doing to the house, any changes I've made. So the first change I started with in this house is actually the kitchen. You see me kind of showcasing like what the kitchen looks like, making sure everybody can see like a clear detail of like how everything is structured. So I wanted to go and break down like the process of like how I did the kitchen, how does remodeling actually take effect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and walk through the video and let you guys see like how everything is now versus what it's gonna be like months later. Originally, this video was recorded in August when I first moved in. I think it was one of the first nights I actually got in. I just recorded the video on my phone because I was like, why not? Right now, I am a year into the home. It is October when I'm recording this, like the end of October, right before Halloween. So I was like, let me go ahead and show everyone what has been going on with the house. So as you can see, like the house, it has wallpaper, it has wood paneling. I've Scarlett in a kennel back there just because it was a lot to do. She was still really young and she wasn't properly potty trained. So this is a video clip of the next day. What I started doing, I was like, let me make sure I get everything off. I'm gonna get everything organized, put in a room. Right now, we're about to come up to the part where I start actually showing you guys what I'm doing to clean off the cabinets because it took a while to actually like know what to do. So I had to watch some videos on like how to properly get the cabinets set up and structured to go through and get them painted properly. So I ended up finding these Brillo pad because people said like because the cabinets are so old that you might want to give them a really good cleaning. That way they can actually have the paint stick on properly. And because this house was built in '76, so it's really old. And these cabinets are original to the home. I know that for sure. So I decided to go to Walmart. I went and got some Brillo pads. They were like $1 for a 10 pack, and the good thing about these is it has like the little metal, but it also has like a soap in it. So what I did was just wet them, started cleaning off all the cabinets, try and get all the grease off of them that had built up. Because if you know anything about cooking in the kitchen, whatever you do, no matter how hard you try, grease does like when you start cooking and frying stuff in the kitchen, grease is literally getting everywhere. Whether or not it's splashing, just that like the smoke going in the air, all of that is just particles of it left over. It's just floating around in the kitchen, and what it does is sticks to the cabinet. So before you can actually start painting or priming cabinets, the first thing you want to do is make sure they're clean all the way off. So before I actually started sanding the cabinets, I decided, hey, why not just go ahead and start cleaning off the cabinets? This took me a few hours just because I wanted to make sure everything was good on them. Then I started sanding here. I ended up, I didn't know that the sandpaper kind of gave it a different like texture or roughness. So I ended up like going through different variations of sandpaper in order to get like the right one that I wanted to make sure like the gloss was gone from the cabinets. And by me having the round orbital sander, this didn't work too well, especially because of the corners. So I ended up eventually like just getting liquid sandpaper and just going over it just to make sure like I can get the corners and stuff. That was really good. But for the most part, I was able to get all of the gloss off. I know like in this part, you can see like different portions of the cabinets. So it's kind of just, you can see everything that's going on. So here it was going through, I decided to just show a quick clip of like how you actually just wipe down the cabinets after they've been cleaned. And then I had to go and do all of the cabinet doors. And something I wish I would have known when I first started was labeling the cabinet doors, because I swear after I took all the hardware and started changing the hardware and stuff, I didn't realize that the doors may not fit back on if they're in different locations. So one thing I did notice is like after I actually started taking the doors apart and stuff and I went to put them back on, you'll notice like some of the doors actually like lean off just slightly. So like I had to like redo different holes, or I had to make sure it wasn't done right, because when I sanded over everything, you couldn't see properly where the holes were, and I felt like that kind of made the cabinets like look off, to where like some of them were lean and some of the doors were like wouldn't close all the way, some of them would stay on, and it could just be the actual thing. So when I got to actually painting and priming the cabinets, at this point you notice like the cabinets, they were all really just looking to where like you can see streaks and everything going through the doors. So one thing I wanted to like make sure that happened was when I went through and finished the cabinets, that you can see no streaks or anything in the doors, because I know like a lot of people, when you get your cabinets refinished, you want to make sure they still look new, and you don't want it to have like that brush stroke or anything in it. So for me, I wanted to make sure everything looked as if a professional did it, and it's not always going to come out like that just because you're not paying someone who's professionally done this. Like, this is my first time ever painting cabinets, probably my first time painting anything really, to where like you would have like some type of like keen eye to look at it, or people are like that's something people are gonna see like and maybe notice a little bit differently than what you would typically see. So what I did was I wanted to make sure that, even since I didn't want to go through with the paint sprayer, with the brush, I'd rather have like light strokes going through to where like you can't really see the brush strokes and stuff. So what I wanted to do is just make sure when the final product actually came out looking how it should. So I'm gonna speed it up here because I know it gets kind of repetitive. So next we're just gonna go ahead and take a look at the kitchen once everything is completely out. Today's the next day of the renovation, so I started taking everything out. I wanted people to see like what the inside of the cabinets look like. I know nowadays, like, the newer cabinets have like that light tan color, but because these are real wood, no particle board or anything like that, it's completely like that dark wood color with a stain on top of it. So what I did was I started taking the sander and sanding the outside of the cabinet, since I knew I was gonna paint those as well. I didn't want any wood grains showing through, so I wanted to make sure I primed the cabinets after sanding them, and then we were gonna go ahead and give it that color. The color I believe that was chosen was like a dove white, which I I regret today, just because I realized like in the kitchen, like it looks nice to have it a white color because everyone wants that clean, sophisticated look. But because like I have a dog, to like now when I'm like editing this video and recording this, I have two dogs. So because they're always like walking around the house, they're in the kitchen when I'm in the kitchen, or they follow me around and they play. So when I let them outside, they come back inside and play, and they track a lot of stuff and they shake off, especially if it rains. So the cabinets don't stay as clean as I want them. So you guys are gonna see like over time, I'm probably gonna have like a different paint. But you can see like here, after putting the primer on there, you sand it down again, just because you don't want any bubbles or anything in the cabinets when you go through to give it the actual final coat of color. So I wanted to sand everything down, make sure there was no like bumps or anything, because when I was going through the cabinets, like because I took off the old hinges and stuff, the like wood pulled out and stuff. So I wanted to make sure everything was good to go. So what I noticed also was, after doing this, I ended up getting my refrigerator, and before I actually got in the house, I ordered the refrigerator before closing, so I didn't actually get to take any measurements of what the refrigerator space was. Make sure you guys like measure everything out for your appliances, because this was a big issue, because when I bought the refrigerator, it was on sale, and because I had them deliver it, when I spoke with the representative at Lowe's, they told me that basically when I returned it, I would get the price I paid, but if I wanted to purchase a new one, I would have to pay full price, and they wouldn't give me the sale that was going on at the time. So I decided to keep the refrigerator, and I was just like, let's take out the wall. So he had already started knocking a hole in the wall. So before I recommend anybody ever start just putting a hole in your wall, make sure you know what's there, because one thing we didn't remember was on the other side of this wall, there's more light switches. So whenever we actually started to put the hole in the wall, the wires were right there. So like because we didn't turn off electrical or anything, if he had snagged the wire, broken a cable or anything, he could have been electrocuted. So always practice safety first whenever you guys are doing anything, especially anything like this, because this was really dangerous. So something I wanted to just highlight was making sure like practice safety first. So once we started actually knocking down the wall, we realized we didn't have a plan in place for like what the goal was, because we realized we couldn't just move the wall over because it would make the other wall seem different, and because the cabinets are right there in the laundry room. So we decided after removing all the drywall was we were just going to move the wall back, giving it a wider opening, because the refrigerator actually fits in the slot. The problem was whenever you put the refrigerator in, you couldn't open the doors because the wall was right there, so it didn't give the refrigerator any clearance to actually open. And we found out later like you need 2 inches of clearance on each side to actually get the refrigerator doors to open, because that's how far they actually open up. So once we set it up and got the wall pushed back, we were able to get everything done. But this was really a pain, because once you start messing with anything, you open it up, and you basically like I had to figure out like how were the electrical wires run open. And because the drywall I didn't know comes in different like thicknesses, I guess I didn't realize that. So when we started putting up another wall, the thickness of the wall was like off, and we were just like, oh well, we'll just use like paneling and stuff because it's some of the thinnest stuff that we have. So we just moved the paneling and stuff, and because like the water line's right there, we were just like, all right, it may just be better to kind of just take a pause and everything, see what's actually going on with the door frame. So once we got everything going, you'll see like that it starts looking better. Once the wall finished coming down and I was able to get the refrigerator in place, I kind of just stopped recording for a while, just because I started working on other stuff and it really became hectic trying to work on the house, record, and go to work. So here you'll just see some progression pictures of like the progress I was making on the house, how everything was coming out. But I really just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I just want to say make sure you guys like this video. Comment if you haven't already. Make sure you guys just check out any other videos I post. At the end, you'll just see some pictures of the final kitchen of what it looks like today and how everything else is going. Thanks.